How are you?
Yeah, good. Yeah, not too bad. Yeah. How are you after Vancouver?
Yeah, it's okay now.
When did you get back?
Last Tuesday.
Oh, yeah.
Rear derailleur, chain, cassette, the wheels need to put tires on.
Yeah.
Measurements on. It's though like we want to sit 2 centimeters per hour.
Why you want to be 20 mil forwards?
It just wasn't possible on this.
Oh, okay, yeah, cool.
Yeah, we're here in Mike's Bikes in Miami. It's an exciting day because when I was overseas in the US and Canada, I got a new bike arrived, the new Ridley, the new TT bike, which is super excited. It's like a custom paint job. It's really, really cool. Yeah, and they're now putting it together and put it on the right dimensions that we had done from the aero testing earlier, like a month ago in Melbourne. And yeah, Jack Sosinski is helping me here with it. So yeah, I'm very, very excited to see the bike finally alive. I had it in the box for a week at home, and I knew like, are we gonna do it next week? I can't start building it yet, so it was hard to hold myself back, especially because I had an easy training week. But it's finally happening, so very excited about it, and yeah, can't wait to ride it very soon. Well, yeah, obviously the T100 didn't start how I wanted to be with the DNF in Singapore. I think like we've investigated a bit like what could be the cause for that like massive cramps I had on the run, and I think it came down to like trying to have too much carb. I do normally like for a 17.3 what I've been doing is like 120 grams an hour, and it's like 2-hour race, so I have 240. Where now I had 240 an hour 50 race in Singapore, and then it being so hot, which apparently you digest carbs less when you're or less easy when it's hot, because the guy from Precision Hydration was saying the blood in your gut like is needed for other stuff, for cooling down, rather than like absorb carbs. I think ultimately that's what bothered me on the run. So yeah, we changed that around for San Francisco, which obviously it's not only that, but then I did get a good result there. I got second. A good training block leading into San Francisco. Like I really got some, where like before Singapore I really missed a lot of key sessions because I got sick just before Geelong, and actually all the like more race specific bike and run workouts I missed, I skipped, which didn't seem to matter so much for Geelong because I still had a good race. But then a T100 does, like you do have to push 10 to 15 watts more on the bike than in a 70.3 race, or than Geelong anyway. So we did some good training leading into San Francisco, and I felt quite confident. Race week I was really struggling with jet lag though. Well, it's a special travel coming from Australia going to the US, because I left Monday morning at like 6 a.m. I traveled for 17 hours, but because it's 17 hours time difference, I arrived Monday morning at 6 a.m. So it's like a super long day. I didn't sleep much in the plane because it's daytime when the flight was. And then I just felt like so tired the whole week leading into San Francisco, and the race was at 6 a.m., which is 11 p.m. in the Gold Coast. So I was a bit nervous about it, but then I think once you know, you have the adrenaline from the race and yeah, all that stuff, like caffeine, of course, like helps a lot. I felt fine race day, and yeah, it turned out to be a good race, a hard one. The bike there is really hard with like, it's I think 1100 meters of climbing, over 80k, and it's just constantly up and down, quite steep, which I think really suits me. But it seemed like it suited Rico Bogen even more. The swim is really special there. It's like you dive off a boat. It's quite high, and then you just swim 2k straight, but there is so much current, which means it's like super fast. I think we swam like 16 minutes, and it also doesn't break up at all. Like, it actually was quite easy, and I was just out of the water with the front. And then it's a long run to T1, which I like. I'm always quite good at it, so I actually ran almost towards the front, did a good transition, then we were on the bike, and it was fast in the beginning, but like not crazy, although actually Rico and Marte did get away in the first lap on the bike, I think because Mika Noot was sitting in third position, and yeah, he didn't do a very fast first descent, and that's where we lost them. But then we got back on to them in the second lap of the bike. And then I think it was maybe the third lap where I was leading the first uphill. It was like 2 uphills at each lap, and I was setting a good pace. I was riding like 400 watts going up the hill, which for a 62 kilogram guy is quite a lot of watts. But then near the top, Rico actually came over me just before we started the descent. And how it works, you have like, I think it's like 30 or 40 seconds to get back into outside the draft, which in T100 is 20 meters. So you do that just while you go into the descent, and you have so much less speed that you carry because of that going into the descent. And like, obviously he was super strong and he rode away from there onwards, but that's where Rico got away and almost gained 3 minutes on us. But actually I think I did a good bike ride there. It was one of my higher, I say it's similar to what I did in Las Vegas and in Taupo World Champs, similar watts. But yeah, I came off the bike together with Kyle Smith, and then a little gap on Marte and Mika. And then actually felt quite good, which I was surprised of. I was a bit nervous on how I was gonna feel coming off the bike because the bike was so hard. But I felt quite good coming off, and decided to, because it was a lot of wind, decided the first like stretch, it was headwind, to sit behind Kyle because he set out quite quick, and then overtook him just before we're gonna make the U-turn. I felt a bit shitty doing it, sitting in on him and then like accelerating and dropping him straight away. But I guess it's racing, and that's what you have to do. And then I was hoping, because Rico Bogen like did the same, where he rode away from everyone in Singapore and in the 70.3 in Venice he did in Italy, not much before San Francisco. So I was and he like cracked on the run. He rode away, but then actually cracked on the run. So I was hoping it would happen the same, where he overbiked and he was gonna struggle towards that second part of the run. But in the end, like, I only gained a minute on him in the end, and he had a super strong run, and I had to settle for second, which I was happy with. Like, of course, I always like to win, but especially after Singapore, where I DNF'd, and knowing that like the T100, it's like a circuit that goes over the whole year, and second place, it's obviously like a good amount of points. I was happy with that race. Yeah, and then I went straight to Vancouver. I decided not to try, because a lot of people went to another place first, but I didn't want to do it because that involves another travel. Like, you have to travel from San Francisco to wherever you want to go in between. And then from there, you have to go race week, pack everything up, and then go again towards Vancouver. So I just stayed there, and actually I think it was a really smart decision because it was quite good for training there. like we were sitting a bit outside the city, more in where the university is, and the running was really nice. It had a nice pool, and then the biking was okay. It was doable for like 10 days. And there we, together with my coach, we discussed that like the first couple of days I did really easy trying to recover from the race, but because obviously it was a very hard race in San Francisco. And then Friday, Saturday, Monday, I did it easy day on Sunday, but then Monday I did like 3 days where I trained, like 5 to 5.5 hours with not much intensity, like more LT1 stuff and mainly focusing on like volume. And I was quite tired actually after that Monday. We actually had a 3-hour and 20-minute bike ride planned with some LT1 efforts, but we ended up cutting it to 2 hours 40 because I was a bit tired and a bit nervous for like it being already race week and me still doing a 6-hour training day. So we did a bit less, and I think it was a good decision in the end. And then from there on, it was really trying to get fresh for the race. I still did like my usual Wednesday bike session, which it's still 32 minutes of like in total of like race pace or even a bit faster than race pace. But yeah, came into Vancouver, quite motivated. Like obviously with Rico's performance the 2 weeks before, like you're never sure if he will do it again, and like because for me I was like, wow, if he's like this, it's really hard to beat him. Anyway, we came into the swim and I had a not so good start. It wasn't terrible, but it wasn't great. I had to move up a bit, which I did, and I actually felt quite good, but then a gap fell, like a couple spaces in front of me. And I wasn't strong enough to close it either, but that's when 4 people got away with, like Marta and Miguel Hidalgo, Morgan Pearson, and Mark the Shark Dubrick. And we had like 40 seconds after the swim, and that start of the bike was really hard. I had a good transition again and came like 3rd or 4th of our group on the bike. But Mika Noot was straight away drilling, like literally drilling it, and we got like 20 seconds back to the front, which had Marta pushing the pace, who is a very strong biker, like in no time. And I was hurting in the beginning of that bike, and then I got a little bit gapped from Mika, and then like Rico Bogan would come and overtake, and I would try to sit with 20 meters from him, and then I would get a little bit dropped from him. Then Kyle came, and then actually like through the technical section and downhill, I made contact with the front group again, and then we were all together, like we got Marta and dropped the others of that swim group. I know Miguel Hidalgo was still there at that point. But then the second lap on the uphill, I started struggling again, and then the elastic really cracked. And over that period, I lost quite a bit of time, and I think after 3 of the 5 laps, I was 1 minute behind. But then just before we make that U-turn to start another start lap for number 4, I saw that Mika Noot was serving a penalty in the penalty tent. I was like, okay, that might be like a good one to try and follow whenever he overtakes me again. And sure he did, and it was really hard to follow him because he said like afterwards, like he went all in and he was not sure if it was the right decision, if he was gonna be able to run off it or not. But he just wanted to close that gap like straight away, and that 1 minute that I had deficit went to like 35 seconds in maybe like half a lap, so we went really hard. And I don't know, I think like that lap where I was on my own, like I lost time, but it was probably also good to like get some energy back and like get a bit fresher again for then when Mika came, I did have the power again to go with him, and I followed him for like lap number 4, and then lap number 5 I had to let him go a little bit on the uphill, but I came into T2 35 seconds back from like Rico Bogan, which was a really, really great position to be in. And again, I came off the bike, and with these bikes you have like a bottle cage at the back, and you have to lift your leg a little bit higher than you have to do on a road bike, and my like hip flexor started like cramping trying to lift my leg. I was like, oh, this is not good. But then once on the run I actually felt great, and Mika was like 15 seconds in front of me, so first I like got up with him, like went straight over him, And then I could just see that I was like gaining so much time on Marta and Rico, and after 1.25 laps, I caught them. So I gained like that 35 seconds in, it was 3K laps in maybe like 3.5 to 4K. So I knew I was running about 10 seconds a K faster than them. And I set in for a little bit, but then like surged, and I actually was surprised that Marta followed me. I thought like, because I did run 10 seconds per K quicker before, that like I would drop them straight away, but only Rico got dropped. And I stayed running in front for a while, and then at one point in the headwind, I asked Marta to take a pull, and he luckily did. And I could feel that when he was running in front, the pace would drop significant. I think we were running maybe like 5 seconds a K slower, and so I knew I definitely was a stronger runner. And where the first attack I did in the headwind, which maybe wasn't smart, at the second attack I did towards the end of the U-turn when we were going tailwind, and I like gradually increased the pace. And then I did the U-turn, and then I really accelerated, and that's when he finally cracked, and that was with like 7.5K to go. And then it took a while to like slowly build my gap from there, and it was like 10 seconds and 15 and 20, and then all of a sudden, like with a lap to go, I saw I had like quite a big gap, more than 30 seconds. So then I was like, okay, I just have to like finish this run now. I have 3K left, and yeah, then I was able to win Vancouver, and happy because I do leave Kate and Sienna for like 3 weeks, and I know like it's quite hard being a single mom for 3 weeks for Kate and stuff. So it means a lot for me that I then also yeah, not just go there for like a 15th place or whatever, but come home with a second and a first place, and yeah, obviously good points towards the T100 ranking, and I now have 2 of my 4 scores that I need before Qatar, before the final race. So I'm very happy with how this like business trip went, but happy to be home now as well. In the end, it was really long, those 3 weeks away. So when I came home, like Sienna knew so many more words, and she's so vocal now. That it's like even those 3 weeks, like she evolved so much. So yeah, I think from now on, like they will come with me to Europe, and I won't have to leave them behind for so long anymore, which is good, which I'm glad for. But yeah, it's my job, so it has to happen. But then I'm very glad that I came away with like these good performances, second and first place, and it means it was worth the trip.